What's going on, everybody? If you can hear me, if you can see me, do me a favor and smash that like button. We're just getting the stream set up here, and we'll dive into the content in just a second. Just making a few little adjustments. If you guys are here, thank you guys for joining. Crazy times. We got so much to cover today, and I think you guys are really gonna like the stream. Once again, if you guys can hear me, if you guys can see me, go ahead and smash that like button. I'm just getting this thumbnail set up, and I'll dive right in. Why is it not? Okay, boom. $324 people in the house. What's going on, guys? Yes, I did vote. I'm not going to talk about who I voted for. I don't think that's productive. I hope everybody's candidate wins. But the real candidate that's winning today is Bitcoin, of course. We're going to be talking about how Bitcoin is entering into a new era. A day like today, which should be filled with uncertainty, should be filled with, different kinds of market uncertainty, is absolutely showing support for Bitcoin. The last month, where all the mainstream markets have gotten absolutely rocked, has just been the most positive thing ever for Bitcoin. And in fact, my prediction about Bitcoin dominance reversing, we just got one of the bigger green candles on the Bitcoin dominance. So it seems that trend reversal bucked the previous indicator trend. Again, past performance, not an indicator of future performance. And to me, it's all good news, because the higher Bitcoin dominance gets, once the alts do move, they move in an astounding way. And I'm just going to be excitedly accumulating the best coins in the space while this happens. Meanwhile, of course, adding to my Bitcoin hodls, because what's happening with Bitcoin is extremely special. And we're going to be going through the PayPal news, through all of the different absolutely game-changing pieces of news that have been coming in around Bitcoin. In my opinion, by extension, the whole crypto space. I see Bitcoin as hopelessly intertwined now with the rest of crypto. You see Bitcoin on Ethereum through DeFi, all the wrapping and bridging. The ecosystem is getting smarter and more connected. And for that reason, what happens with the good things that happen to Bitcoin, in my opinion, are quite good for the rest of the space. I don't see them as separate. I see this all moving in one huge harmonious uptrend. And that's why I'm so bullish right now. Why are all my altcoins imploding? Yeah, I wouldn't say that they're imploding right now. I think there's plenty of new altcoins, the ones I've been discussing, that are actually up on the month, and there's plenty of success to be had. We're going to be trying to keep it as nonpartisan on this stream as possible. I'm at an Airbnb, obviously. I'm not at my normal studio here. I wanted to get out of LA for this whole election. I think that was, just for peace of mind. But I hope everyone is satisfied with the election result. I don't really want to get into which candidate or any kind of election outcomes. But I did want to kind of just have this long stream here, just to have some crypto camaraderie through this, so that you guys know that this community is growing stronger and that we're sticking together and growing, to me, into an entirely new era. It is unquestionable in my mind that what's happening around Bitcoin, and by extension the larger crypto markets, is unprecedented to a certain degree. And what it is a signal of is times ahead that, in my opinion, are infinitely, exponentially more prosperous than the times behind. I think that there is something called a super cycle, which is on the horizon, where Bitcoin essentially gets its big chunk of its mainstream adoption. There's going to be a cycle where Bitcoin gets adopted by the majority of people, kind of like Facebook and Google and the internet. Those products eventually just became adopted and standardized across the world. And I believe strongly that that's going to happen with Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. And the news today out of PayPal, the news today generally out of the market, is a strong, firm green flag bull indicator of all of that. So we see some comments. I'm going to hop into the Q&A for just a second before moving on to the meat of the episode. What's going on? Ellie Johnson, Hubert, Andre Udowski, Ben Anderson, Chris Anderson, all the Andersons in the building, Alejo Fernandez, Baz. What's going on, everybody? What's going on? Thank you, everybody, for showing up. We got 580 people in the chat. If you guys could all collectively destroy that like button, absolutely destroy it, kill it, bring it to the state of blueness that it loves. That's what we need, and we'll move right on. What is We got a lot of altcoin shilling going on, and yeah, we're gonna hop in right now because we got so much to cover, and then we'll pop into the Q&A. We're gonna be talking about some really good altcoins at the end of the episode, towards, I don't know, the middle, and then we'll just bounce. And I want this stream to kind of be a little bit longer, and for us to just enjoy this moment together, and sort of any concerns you have, any questions you have, I'll try to answer them all. That's my goal. So let's dive in. So we have the election day pump, right? This is absolutely phenomenal for Bitcoin. And we see Bitcoin popping up literally while all the other markets are rattled with uncertainty, because there's so much uncertainty in the air right now as far as the economy. But Bitcoin seems to be really bucking this trend, signaling yet another day, a significant day, where the market is validating a decoupling. The decoupling of Bitcoin from mainstream markets is without a doubt the most bullish thing that could happen. And in fact, there's just been no evidence or data of it happening. So calling a decoupling to me is super premature. I like to live in facts and data and use essentially what we've seen as, to formulate my theses. Now, what we're seeing is that this cycle of Bitcoin, which is the first cycle that might occur in a somewhat recessionary period for the mainstream markets, because remember, in 2012, from 2012 essentially through 2020, we've had almost a nonstop, unabated bull market in the mainstream markets. And to see Bitcoin pumping while the other markets are not pumping is absolutely amazing. And you see this big green candle right here. To me, you could go ahead and debate the different reasons, but I think this has a lot to do with just overall excitement in the space. And I think PayPal coming out and saying what they said has a lot to do with it. But we're also seeing, again, let me take off this indicator here. We're seeing, again, the Bitcoin dominance just putting in a nice girthy green candle here. And this is, to me, an indicator that this Bitcoin motion isn't quite done yet. And obviously, we saw this turning point right here where we had the TD sequential 9 a couple of days ago. Then we had this huge, spooky ghost. Like, I thought they would actually take off this data error, but look at how crazy this data error actually became here. Look at this data error. Look how low this went, this Bitcoin dominance data error. This is crazy to me. And this happened like right on Halloween, pretty much. I called it the spooky ghost wick, but you could see it literally goes down to like a 42 reading, and the lowest all-time Bitcoin dominance is here at like a 33 or whatever. So it went down to almost the lowest Bitcoin dominance. And, I think that might be some foreshadowing. But regardless, what we're seeing is some continuation upwards of Bitcoin dominance. And that means that it's still the Bitcoin party for now. But obviously, if you look back at periods where Bitcoin dominance peaked, like back in September 19, like here in January 20, or here in May 20, all of those were essentially literally the best possible entries into altcoins. So what you have to look forward to with Bitcoin dominance rising, meanwhile, you're seeing cryptocurrencies adopted all around the world in brave new ways. Altcoins are reaching new phases of adoption. Products are reaching new phases of adoption, which we'll talk about at the end. But you're seeing really Bitcoin being the tip of the spear there, getting the kind of adoption that, we thought was coming in waves in 2017, but it seemed like it just took a little bit longer. I mean, these big players, they move slower. And so seeing this kind of adoption, which we'll talk about on Bitcoin here. We have this guy Bond King, right, who called Bitcoin a lie, now says it's the best hedge against inflation. I want to talk about this Vitalik thing in a second. We also had this Bitcoin mining drop, a big difficulty drop. And I think this is a great thing I wanted to bring up, because essentially whenever Bitcoin mining difficulty drops here, what you see is actually the value of your hashes, the value of Bitcoin mining, the profitability goes up as the difficulty drops. So this is a balance where as the difficulty drops, it becomes more profitable, more people come in, difficulty rises. So this, I saw people talking about this in a negative light. I don't even view this in a negative light. I think it's fine, right? I think that this is the system working as it's supposed to, right? When Bitcoin mining doesn't become as profitable as it was, people turn their machines off and they save the energy cost, and then the cycle finds an equilibrium. We're going to talk about this PayPal news now. Let me find it. Yeah, so this is the big news of the day. This is the real big heavy-hitting news of the day. We're going to minimize this slightly. Oh, it's the wrong button. And we're going to talk about PayPal embracing crypto in a bigger way. And so the thing about PayPal was, this is arguably the most important company to embrace crypto, as they really are the leader of digital payments. They own Venmo. Venmo, a lot of people thought was a competitor to PayPal. It is not. They're owned by PayPal. They got bought before Venmo actually even really popped off and became popular. And they're planning to embrace crypto in a big way. Now, remember when Square, the Cash App, first added Bitcoin, they exploded with popularity and revenue. And PayPal was just kind of watching and seeing, kind of letting them be the guinea pigs. And then Venmo essentially fell behind Cash App in total downloads and revenue in a lot of different metrics. And you got to believe that PayPal, the big 50,000 pound gorilla in the space, is very much so watching and trying to essentially catch up. So the CEO, Dan Schulman, provided new details about the company's recent embrace of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies on Monday, describing plans for shopping tools as well as potential partnerships with central banks. According to Schulman, starting in the first half of next year, PayPal will let users draw cryptocurrency accounts to pay for goods and services at 28 million merchants that use the company's platform. The arrangement, he says, will not result in any incremental fees for either consumers or merchants. This is amazing, right? Because everybody's always talking about fees. Oh, how do I buy the proverbial cup of coffee? And that's always been the big, pain, right? But this is going to, obviously the counter to this is that it's not very blockchain centric. This is built upon the legacy financial system, and they're treating Bitcoin as a sort of, they're not making on-chain transactions, obviously, when you're using your Bitcoin. So you can almost see PayPal in some ways like some kind of like layer 2 here. So next year's expansion will also enable customers to use Venmo, its popular peer-to-peer payment service, to buy shop cryptocurrencies. I think this is one of the biggest moves. Obviously, PayPal's huge, but Venmo, the mobile-friendly aspect of it, is absolutely massive. PayPal's bullishness on cryptocurrencies, Schuman implied, is based on an early response to last month's crypto offering. He said that the size of the waiting list for for access to crypto, which is now available to 10% of users, was 2 to 3 times as great as what they anticipated, and the Schulman said the service will be available to all U.S. residents within the next few weeks. So you can literally buy, for the people who have this available, there were these pictures of people just buying Bitcoin straight from their PayPal with no fees. Absolutely amazing. That's like, Coinbase, watch out, and PayPal's not going to go down when things are surging. That's for sure. So this is fixing a huge, huge issue, which is on-ramps and off-ramps, in my opinion, though the off-ramp aspect of this is still very much in question, as we don't know how PayPal is going to manage their off-ramps. In fact, we have some evidence that they're going to be a very much so closed network that's not going to allow so much, in and out with Bitcoin. And that might be for regulatory reasons. We just don't know how this is going to shake out completely yet. It says on a broader level, Schuman pointed to the fact that companies and central banks are experimenting with cryptocurrencies and the utility of digital wallets. Such wallets are often equated with the payment services offered by Apple and Google, but included apps used to store Bitcoin and other new types of money. And so he's saying that digital wallets are just this really important step forward. And we know that, you can't have conversations about the evolution of crypto without the evolution of wallets. We know that they still need to evolve. In my opinion, Bitcoin will eventually evolve to the place where it's being used without the complexity, without all of the 0.00000015, without all the incremental fees and the private keys. It's just going to be as simple as paying like you do from your bank account, except you're just keeping most of your assets in a Bitcoin, which is essentially an asset that rewards you for holding it over the long term instead of punishes you like fiat. In response to the analyst question, Schuman said PayPal views cryptocurrency systems as cheaper and more efficient than ACH, which of course is the electronic debit system that is relied on pretty strongly on the legacy system. So you can see here, they're seeing Bitcoin as an improvement on ACH. And this kind of brings into question, or brings into clarity, the way that they're viewing Bitcoin and crypto transfers, which is an improvement upon this legacy system, but very much so built to interact with the legacy system. And this is going to come into play because people were asking me, we have huge news out of Utrust as well, which of course people are saying, well, isn't this kind of irrelevant now that PayPal's come out? And so I wanted to clarify that because I don't think it is at all personally. Obviously, the market will decide. And then I wanted to talk on this because essentially what we have here is we all know that the polls right now are not favoring the incumbent here, President Trump. But on prediction markets, for crypto derivative prediction markets, or just not derivative, crypto prediction markets are favoring Trump. And so, Vitalik had this interesting Twitter thread where he talks about why he thinks that might be the case. Obviously, you guys are smart. You probably have your own ideas. But I thought this was interesting, just sort of taking into account the possibility of all these things, which I don't think is that issue. I think it's really people assuming that statistical models are just not accurate, right? We know that the polls are not that accurate. We saw that on the last election, they were way off. And so I think this is just kind of like the death of polling, in my opinion. Like, this is just polling and people not really believing in polling. And so I think that's one really interesting aspect, a social change, where now we can see with crypto and blockchain, a much more direct type of voting that is liquid capital voting, right? Where if people are putting their money behind their opinions, you know that they mean it, right? I'm not going to put $100 behind something I don't think is going to happen unless there's some other dimension here that deception is somehow profitable. But I thought this was really interesting just to see another amazing social change happening in 2020, which is essentially people no longer believing in statistical models, which I think is the critical thing here. Again, let me know what you guys think, obviously. Remember, each and every comment on this video is entered to win your very own Ledger Nano S. We just gave away one on the last episode, and we'll be giving away very regularly here. So always feel free to give your opinion. Let's try not to be toxic here. We know everyone has very, very disjointed beliefs this time in 2020. So this PayPal news to me is absolutely massive. I think that this is what's really moving the market, and that things like this they provide a sort of X factor to what's happening in the movement, that are these dynamic shifts that can't be modeled out, but they do fall largely into the category of cycles. And I think that it's really important to remember that on the 4-year cycle, which of course is how the elections ironically occur as well as Bitcoin, you see that after each and every election that has occurred during Bitcoin's lifetime, of course, this times very, very well with the halvings, we see this explosive uptrend. Let me see, actually, I wanted to see if I could find that image because it was a really good image. Maybe I won't be able to find it. Let me just quickly browse for it. But it was an image that just showed, of course, right after the elections, what happens every time. And one election, Obama won, the other election, Trump won. So I just really think that in the end, the real winner of every election, 100% of the time in history, has been Bitcoin. And Bitcoin's going to win this election. It's going to win next election. It's going to win every election. That's my belief. And so seeing this trend, I can't seem to find it. I can't seem to find this. This is buried in our cryptocurrency. Sorry, guys. But you guys know the deal. 4 years ago, every 4-year cycle, we get these explosive pops. And then I thought this was interesting. People are talking about leaving Ethereum, but here we see Tether going back to Ethereum, which I think is really, really interesting. Let me quickly pop into the comments here. When is the DeFi bull run? I believe the DeFi bull run will be just generally the altcoin bull run. DeFi is kind of just the trending narrative in altcoins right now. And so, as altcoins run, DeFi will run, I believe. So I think it's just you seeing the altcoin market move as a whole. Let me actually just do a quick interstitial here and talk about just how alts are performing and my mentality. So new alts, small cap alts, brand new alts that don't have that gravity on them. They haven't been sort of, I guess, played out and all that stuff. They haven't had their 50Xs and are now coming down. The ones that are just hitting the market with reasonable market caps, usually under 5 million, they will have a chance to pump and move regardless of market conditions. But sort of more established alts, the ones over 15, 20 million in market cap, those ones that they just need a lot more capital to get moving. They're fundamentally strong. They have crazy teams, tech partnerships. They're actually like changing the technological landscape. Those are the ones, the strong FA plays, fundamental analysis. Those are the ones that will absolutely quote unquote melt faces during the altcoin cycle, which I talked to a lot of really, really respected altcoinists, if you will. I'm coming out with a podcast style episode within the next 48 hours or so that essentially is with a couple of guys from CT Crypto Twitter that I really like. And, we all agreed that the real altcoin cycle hasn't hit yet. But when they do, those really strong fundamental plays, a lot of which that are completely withdrawn, they're on their support levels, they're hitting new lower prices. To me, those are the big opportunities, is doing the research, understanding the projects that are really doing things of substance, and understanding that when the market does move, those are the ones that are going to very, very rapidly transform your portfolio. But before we get there, in this sort of sloppy middle ground that we're in right now, where Bitcoin's, working its way up, some alts are moving, some alts are not. Really, I'm focused exclusively on new altcoins. As far as big investments, I'm mostly moving into new altcoins right as they hit the market, trying to sort of get some gains off of their early movements. And then once they start really stagnating, if they do some serious gains, let's just say 5x or more, maybe 10x, I'm going to say that's probably all they're going to do until the market catches up and starts to move as a whole. And that's why I'll start to take some profits and look for the newer plays. But once the market starts really heating up, that's when these huge FA plays will start to take off. That's my sort of thesis on it. I'm going to pop in really quick and see the chat. 917 people. Wow, the chat is absolutely rolling. I missed a few super chats, so I apologize for that. Let me go up and check that. What is your BTC ETH link proportions of your portfolio? 60% in those combined. I'm sorry if I missed another super chat. Let me see if I can catch up. Great takes as usual. Yep, SHR. We're going to talk about SHR in just a minute here. And yeah, we'll pop into all your favorite altcoins. And remember, guys, if you guys are talking to me about some kind of super chat, I'll read your super chat and be nice. But just because I'm responding to a super chat does not indicate that I am in any way supporting or validating that project. I'm new to cryptocurrency. I want to invest $500. What are some good long-term and short-term coins I can invest into? So, it depends on your goals, obviously, not financial advice, but, the easy one is Bitcoin, Ethereum, Chainlink. Those are the easy ones. If you want more price reactive, if you want more gains faster, then you're going to want to find new exciting coins. It's going to take you a while to learn the formula. But you're going to want to find new and exciting coins right as they're launching, literally like the hour that they launch, and get in on them, because that'll be the chance for you to actually multiply those stacks. But that's just, this is the stuff we talk about all the time. Alrighty. So let's pop back in here and let's go to, oh yeah. And even more bullish news, right? We had the, where is this? Give me my filters. Give me my filters. Okay, so we also had what I think of as really bullish news, which is that Jack Dorsey keeps his role as Twitter CEO. Now, there's two aspects of this whole adoption thing to me. There is the financial aspect, there is the sort of institutional money aspect, and then there's the social aspect and the cultural aspect. And to me, Twitter having a CEO that's this bullish on Bitcoin is extremely, extremely good, because I believe that there is some plan here for a way to embed Bitcoin into Twitter. There has to be, right? Twitter wants to decentralize itself. Twitter wants to be having an economic flow through it, I believe, and I think there's some serious things under the surface here with Jack Dorsey. And so seeing him not get banned as the CEO, I personally think it's a really, first let me just speak on the Twitter issues of censorship. In the end, it's really hard with social media platforms, because there's a lot of stuff that ruins the community, that turns people off, and you end up with a series of bad choices, and you're choosing between two bad options, which often include some form of censorship or some form of protecting people from sort of maliciousness. However, I think Jack is, in the end, I think he's a good guy, and I think he does a good job. People might skewer me for that, but I think having the CEO of Twitter being a mega bull for Bitcoin is extremely good if you love your cryptos. So whether or not you agree with his approach to community management, again, those aren't all his decisions. Those are company-wide decisions. And so, yeah, I think this is just really, really good for the space. You see what he's doing with Cash App. Cash App putting the pressure on PayPal and Venmo to make their move, and then you're seeing now the dominoes starting to fall. So I think Jack Dorsey's will be looked back at and remembered as an absolutely amazing, pivotal figure in the Bitcoin movement. You're seeing countries that have been, banned from the mainstream economy, like Iran, using Bitcoin to sidestep sanctions. Now, I'm not condoning this. I'm just saying that the idea of borderless, the idea of frictionless, of anti-censorship resistance, this is another selling point, right? These are going to be joy buttons and value props for a big chunk of the world that is not included in our modern financial system, our sort of traditional banking system. And then we'll talk about this even more so when we get to the UTrust news, because that's a big piece of news for you to understand the difference between what PayPal's doing and what companies like UTrust enable. But at any rate, MicroStrategy, they made their $250 million Bitcoin bet, then almost doubled down, brought it up to 425 million, I think. And then, 425 million. And now it's worth over $500 million. So easy money, right? Easy money. Congrats to Michael Saylor and the team over there at MicroStrategy. They deserve it. Absolutely deserve it. What else do you want? $100 million up. So now it brings us to some altcoin news. UTrust just put out their Hold app. Now, I'm a big fan of UTrust. As far as crypto companies go, they ship amazing products. They have an amazing team, and they're working to do, before PayPal stepped up, they were looking to essentially be the PayPal of crypto. That's what I referred to them as. But it's important to realize that, people were asking me, like, how does this, where is this? I responded to a comment. How does this compete with PayPal now that they got into crypto? And so I replied and said, PayPal is essentially built on the legacy system, and that UTrust is completely built on blockchain. And so PayPal will always be much larger. It's not about becoming bigger than PayPal. That's not the goal here. But understand that PayPal is hundreds of billions, and UTrust is a couple million, really. And so seeing it grow to be just 1/1000th of PayPal or something like that, those are the types of targets that I think are in my head. And so it's important to realize that blockchain is borderless, it's friction-free, and as PayPal has just validated, this technology is far superior to the legacy system. And so having a system that's not built on the legacy system, just like Tesla is not built on a traditional gasoline style automotive blueprint, I think those are advantages. And so I think there's still going to be a lot of audiences and people to serve for UTrust that are not being served by PayPal. And that's why I'm still bullish on it. But again, like I said, the market will decide. I just give them credit because their new Hold app here gives you a Visa card. It has an exchange. It has you can pretty much be an all-in-one financial app for your cryptocurrency. And they have something called reverse staking as well, which I think is really good as their tokenomics needed a little bit of more tuning up. So obviously they got a nice pump today off this news. I think they're doing a good job, right? I'm happy to be helping them get their message out because in the end, crypto's filled, as you guys know, with tons of scams and tons of nonsense. And so when you see good actors in the space, like their CEO was at PayPal, their CEO is an executive at PayPal. And so when you see just rockstar teams, to me, I want to support those teams in getting further. This is not like, you have like on the far left scale, you have like your rug pulls and your Anon stuff. And then on your far right, you have, Bitcoin. But in the middle, you have these amazing teams trying to create value. And so, I think it's important that we still try to support the good teams, and this is just more information about the sort of PayPal stuff. And I tweeted this earlier. Bitcoin is dead. Ethereum is dead. ICOs are dead. DeFi is dead. When you realize that none of these are true, you've made it to the next level of the maze. This is just a tweet I had this morning. It seems people are really liking it. And this is how I feel, is that none of these things are dead. There's more ICOs this year, probably in number than ever each month. I actually didn't check that, but I'm sure that it's comparable to that 2017 era. Ethereum is one of the most vibrant ecosystems in the world, could very well be the biggest, most used blockchain in the world in the future. I think it is right now. Bitcoin is far from dead. Bitcoin is on its way to becoming that reserve asset that the world desperately needs. And DeFi, of course, is barely born. It's barely born. How can it be dead? And so when you see people claiming that these things are dead, to me, it's it's good, right? It's almost amazing because you get these really generous resets in price on crypto. Crypto goes like this. It goes like this. And so if you're able to understand where to take profits and where to enter, you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to you don't have to sell the peak and buy the absolute bottom. But if you catch, 50% of the middle and you understand when the cycles move, you can ride the same coin like 6, 8, 100 times. Bitcoin in its particular example, infinitely, right? And so DeFi resetting does not mean that it's dead. And I believe that a great piece of proof for this is this tweet I just had right here, which is I was, quote, retweeting David Marcus, who's the head of Facebook Financial, right? He was the head of the Libra project as well, testifying in front of Congress. And he said, what are the most interesting DeFi projects beyond Uniswap, Maker, and Compound? And so obviously I replied with just a few that I wanted him to check out, a different smattering here of, Aave, Synthetics, Rune, Ren, and Link. But this is, here you have Vitalik saying prediction markets, Larry Cermax, everyone's chiming in, and this is huge, right? This is huge, 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 huge. DeFi is just being learned about. It's like plutonium. People don't understand it yet. And so to say it's dead is not only wrong, but it's something that works in your advantage, right? It's something that you can take advantage of and use to beat the market, which is understanding when the FUD and the FOMO, or the FUD is just absolutely allowing you to get a generous reentry into something that's going to go bananas. I believe that. And so let's talk about a coin that I wanted to cover now called ShareRing. And I see a super chat. There's no comment attached to it. Nate Ballum, Alpha Virtual. Thank you so much for your super chat. I appreciate you. If you have a comment, feel free to throw it in the chat. Thoughts on Swipe, Igor. Thank you for the super chat. I'll get to that. Cool. I got all the super chats. So now we're going to talk about ShareRing, and somebody brought this up to me on a stream a couple of days ago. I had already heard about it, but I didn't realize that their project is called Share Token on CoinGecko. Obviously, I wasn't deeply immersed in it. And then someone brought it up to me again, and I made the comment that I thought they were doing too much. But I wanted to re-examine this because I had a couple of people I respect really push some facts and data in front of me. And so I wanted to kind of go over ShareRing and just give you an example of something that I think is, in my opinion, a very solid fundamental play. When it moves, I don't know. But I can tell you that the fundamentals are really stacking up from a use case, team, technology, and now looking at tokenomics. There's a lot going on here, right? So just to recap of what this is, ShareRing is essentially, they want to be the Amazon of the sharing economy. So they have a variety of apps. They have an ID app, they have a shopping app, they have a travel app, they have a paying app. And so, there's a variety of use cases here. But essentially, I had this because I found this announcement channel where essentially they were going over all of the juicy details, the juicy details. So I had them kind of bullet pointed here. And I wanted to go over this because I think they're doing some interesting stuff, right? They want to be the Amazon, they want to be the Amazon of... Okay, they want to be the Amazon of the sharing economy, share and rent anything from one marketplace. Apps launching very soon. So they have 4 separate apps. They have Share Shop, revolutionary ID management. Chico, for one, has been talking a lot about IDs being this hyperwave. And when I think you combine ID with product and service, so I have my ID and I can easily get an Airbnb or a car or this or that, I think that that's really powerful. I do think that, these particular verticals of actually travel, of actually auto, they're all most likely going to be owned by more specific entities, but that's not saying that ShareRing couldn't partner with these guys at any rate. They also, of course, not to be underestimated, they partnered with the BSN, which is China's Blockchain Services Network. And this is a huge project from, the Chinese government. And so these partnerships are probably coming with a huge amount of financial backing as well. They're in the Samsung Partner Program. And then where's the other stuff? They're saying that you won't have waiting times at hotels or car rentals. I wonder if that's true. I don't think they can control that. But this is kind of what they're trying to do, is a cohesive sort of universal sharing platform where you have your ID and then you can get access to all kinds of products and services. And I did get, here's like a visual of all their different products and services. Because this project actually fundamentally is really strong, right? And then you're going to look at the share flowbacks, right? They said our masternode holders, this guy Timothy Boz said our masternode holders noticed an increase in transaction numbers on the ShareRing global mainnet yesterday. It's ramping up to an expected 500,000 transactions per day. And they said our node holders all celebrated and shouted, "Yeah, baby," last night. So if they're putting these many transactions through the actual mainnet, it bodes extremely, extremely well for their actual product adoption. And so I just wanted to go over that this is actually a product that's really getting adopted, and it looks like they have a lot of bright future ahead. Again, speculation for sure on whether they'll actually be successful. There's huge incumbents in each of those verticals that they'll have to go against. But look at ShareRing's price right now, right? You see this parabolic sort of explosion back in, July. It actually peaked at the beginning of August, end of July, which was sort of uncommon. A lot of the coins peaked in August. But you see it's just sort of like it hit this support here of about 1.5 cents, 1.6 cents, and it's just riding now on this support, and it'll probably grind its way out sideways here. But you're seeing how generous this is, that it went up to, almost a nickel here, and it's down at, under 2 cents. And yet now they're coming out with all the strong fundamental news. And so this is how generous crypto is, right? That if ShareRing, which I believe if we already get this alt cycle I'm predicting, a project like ShareRing is most likely to be the beneficiary of some serious pumpage, right? Especially if their product's being adopted en masse like it looks like they are. I mean, this thing is going to be generous to me and do it again, most likely. And so I see a lot of people that I like, that I think are very intelligent, saying that they're accumulating SHR, share token. And yeah, I just wanted to bring this up to you guys because I sort of talked about it in the past, but I didn't give it the shine that I think it really deserves. So I wanted to kind of recap there. And then, yeah, let's hop into some Q&A now because it's time for that. Can you check out GSwap, DEX, Shroom, gameswap.org? So yeah, the thing about Shroom is it's all conceptual, right? They like copied what Meme did, and they haven't solved the problem of having valuable NFTs, and that's the biggest problem. What you guys will hear about in the next coming days is my NFT project, and we spent 3 years building video games before we decided to launch an NFT platform. We built the value in the NFTs way before we built the NFTs. And so everyone wants to shortcut it. And we took the long way. And that's why we're so excited about the project we're going to be delivering, because we're delivering all kinds of new functionality for NFTs, as well as NFTs that are built into ecosystems that are already inherently valued, like video games, for example. And so that's where we're trying to take an entirely new approach. And yeah, let me actually cover my face here and we can see the chat. And so I like projects like Shroom, but I also am building a project that is going to rapidly make projects like that sort of, prelude to what we've been doing. It's all been leading up to it, but it's good. It's tinkering, right? But they don't have any assets that are of value, in my opinion. That's the problem. Bull markets are here. Yeah, I hope so. Wow, ShareRing looks great. Where can I buy? When you guys want to find coins, if you guys don't know this yet, you go to CoinGecko, you search for the coin, and then you click on the Markets tab. Once you click on the Markets tab, it'll show you where to buy it. You can literally click on those. It'll sort by volume. It's really easy to find. Trishant Sidwani, 100. I'm not really sure what that currency is, but thank you. I appreciate you. If you have a comment, please leave it. $770 people in the house. If you guys haven't smashed the like button, I really appreciate it. Elioception. Yeah, exactly. I don't know whether this is good or bad. Whether this is good or bad. Yeah. Okay, so I moved myself over. Yeah, RSR is another one. Utrust is decentralized. Yep. Nope. Don't want to read negative comments about my friends. All right. Thoughts on Synlev? I really don't know that project. Sorry guys, I don't know about that project yet. I'll definitely check it out. But I'm not going to just dabble and start talking about random altcoins because people have been trying to take me out of context lately. And yeah, so I'm just not going to risk it. I don't care. I don't care about the random alts that I don't know about. Wholly held, yeah, I don't know. It looks good. It's such a small market cap. You know, like the leader in that space, crypto.com, is like $3 billion. They're like 1 million, so it would have to 3,000x to catch up. It's almost just too good to be true, but who knows? Maybe it'll pump. I'm a little weary of it, but it looks cool to be wholly held. Again, I don't know about it. I'm not endorsing it at all. UFT, FTW, I'm bullish on Unilend for sure. I like Unilend. Ramp, I'm also bullish on as well. I like Ramp as well. I haven't gotten my position yet, but what I've seen I think is really exciting, and I think they will have a pop in the future. But I haven't done a deep dive. What about Vidcoin on Binance? People have been talking about Vid again. I think it's a data play. I haven't checked it out in depth, but I've heard some people raving about it. There's two of you behind you going off, bro. Yeah, no, I know. All right, I'm actually going to change this view. I think it's not so good. I'm going to bring myself up here. Cool. Unistake. Definitely. Where do you stand on ChainX now? Same thing I stood on before, you know. It's a huge Polkadot ecosystem project, and one of the first relay chains on Polkadot, I think, as I understand it. So what's not to love there? As Polkadot and that narrative starts to flex and swell again, I think Polkadot ChainX will be another easy run back. Bondly is not available to buy yet, but be ready for when Bondly comes out. I'm super excited about that one. Am I bullish on Unibright? Of course I'm bullish on Unibright. It's an amazing coin. Amazing coin. Do you work on Ace Combat 7? No. Band? Again, Band is going to, I think, move when all the alts move. Or when we get that Oracle season. Do you think Acro has bottomed out? Love the content. Thank you. Yeah, I think Acro, again, just like ChainX, they'll move back when the Polkadot narrative becomes juicy again. Thank you for the $5 super chat here. Check out Arrington XRP Capital's portfolio page. Follow their investments, not their token, XRP. So actually, little known fact, Arrington XRP Capital is not really that closely associated with XRP. And they originally founded with like a small grant from XRP, but it's not actually run that way. I know that because one of the VCs that we were working with on my project was actually a member of Arrington XRP Capital and gave me the down low. So they make great investments. Michael Arrington is a legend. He founded TechCrunch and Crunchbase. So absolute boss man. And so yeah, I will look at their investments. They've made some great ones. They're always on the cutting edge. Thank you for the super chat, Alex Chaplin. I didn't see a comment if you want to throw one in. Thanks for doing the research on SHR. Respect. Yeah, I'm always trying to level up my own game. And guys, there's 6,000 projects. I can't know everything about every one. Elio, dude, if you had 100,000 ADA, would you convert to BTC or ETH? Just split them. Have you checked out Ori yet? I like Ori on paper. I think I knew some people, like I heard some FUD about them early on that's kept me out of it. But on paper, they seem solid. It seems like a really good project. Thoughts on Cardia Chain and Darwinia Ring? So yeah, I think that Cardia Chain, again, these are projects, great examples of projects that have absolutely soared and mooned during the last sort of little mini cycle. And they're going to need some sort of macro movement to get back out of their sort of lows. But those are great examples of projects that will most likely be generous and moon again. If I had to put my money on it, getting in towards support as they start to bottom out. If you see Bitcoin dominance really topping out, putting in a topping structure, that's when those types of coins might be really get their second wave. Yeah, the Atari token, I don't know. I don't know what's up with that, to be honest. I didn't look too much into it. But the problem is that Atari is just not a very relevant entity anymore. This is kind of one of the big issues. Did I get into the GSX pre-sale? I don't know what the GSX is, to be honest. You are smart. Thank you. Rocket Pool. You guys know I'm bullish on Rocket Pool. It'll move with ETH. It'll move with ETH. Thoughts on Injective? It's a super low cap, high quality derivatives DEX play. I'm holding. Is Komodo a dinosaur? I actually don't even know what Komodo does anymore. I used to know. Forgot. Great farming on Ori. Yeah, I bet it is. I have to kind of dig deeper. Everyone shilling YF Die. Thoughts, Elio? Well, I know BitBoy's an advisor to it. And you know, I don't know much else. I think, let's see, over the last week or so, it's gone up about 2x. Yeah, it was about $500 and then BitBoy hopped on and now it's like 1,000. Looks cool. It's still a micro cap. I've seen their use cases. I'm not like, you know, I think a lot of people are trying to solve the sort of Uniswap trust thing. So we'll see, but it, you know, interesting use cases. I'm personally not buying any or holding any, but I wish them luck. PRQ, sweet. I think so. I'm a big fan. Long-term bull on PRQ. How you dropping your game? You'll see. You'll hear all about it. We're putting the final puzzle pieces in right now. The game's gonna come out. The NFT platform's gonna come out. The token's gonna come out. Everything's gonna drop all at once. It's gonna be magical. I'm so excited. Nobody does this. Nobody spends years building a video game before they decide to go crypto. There's sort of mainstream gaming companies that try to add crypto, but nobody spends this time to build a quality game. Thought your portfolio if you only had $1,000. Thanks. So definitely lots of Bitcoin ETH link. And then, you know, I would be looking, if you were talking about right now, I'd be looking at the really, really exciting new alts and having, you know, 10 to 20% of your portfolio be moving heavily in and out of good alt right as they hit the market. But again, it seems easy, but the game's really hard. You have to really stay focused on it. You can't just put in a trade and come back in a week and see how it did. You have to really be watching, because if this thing pops up and does a 2-3x, which a lot of the exciting new ones do, you got to take your profits, you know, and then you got to protect your capital. And then you can really work and start building up a portfolio. Meanwhile, you have your high quality FA plays. You know, I'd throw Ocean in there, RSR, you know, some of these Polka projects, the DeFi majors. Then you start distributing your profits from those into those more major projects. But you have your sort of, you have your more fast, your sort of short-term portfolio, middle-term portfolio, long-term portfolio. No, long-term is really Bitcoin, some Ethereum, and now Chainlink's working its way into there. Your mid-term are sort of the trending narratives, DeFis, Polkadots, Oracles. In general, the things that have popped off throughout 2020, you're going to want to sort of distribute into those as mid-term holds. But once those things do crazy, crazy, crazy numbers, you're definitely going to want to distribute those profits into BTC, ETH, and Link. Hope that answers your question. Is Unistake dead? I don't think so. I've been communicating with the team a lot. I don't want to say a lot. They're not quite ready yet, but I'm very excited for that one. Any thoughts on Quant Network? Can it be a big player with the CBDC narrative in 2021? I haven't heard about how Quant Network is interacting with CBDCs. Sorry. But I've heard a lot of good things about Quant Network. Blockchain Brad was the first one who told me about Quant Network, and he did a deep dive. Your opinions on Aave getting back to all-time high? I think it happens once the Bitcoin dominance tops and starts reverting and DeFi in general gets re-energized. But Aave is absolutely one of the top coins that's going to, I think, work its way back. Let's see what's going on here. Alrighty. God, the chat is rolling, guys. It's rolling too fast for me to read. Keep 4R, no. Nope, not me. Not me. I mean, like a project like that, I don't think you should be cloning, right? It's not just like one of these degen plays. It's actually a serious project. Any thoughts on Quant Network? No, sorry, I already read that one. Oin Finance. Yeah, so we still haven't been validated on cross-chain DeFi yet. Like, it's interesting, it's buzzy, but these other chains doing DeFi, we don't know how much that's going to play out, how successful it's going to be. Falcon Swap, again, the team, I believe, is really close. They keep, like, if they were just going to dip, I think they would have already been out, right? Because their coin was already way more expensive. They seem to still be grinding on it. And the communications I'm getting, I'm still optimistic. I'm still holding, so we'll see. But again, I'm not going to put any of, like, I don't want you guys thinking this is validation. I have no idea. It could be totally all hot air, right? But I'm hoping that they launch their product soon. And again, we still desperately need what they're claiming they can do. So Orion protocol, yes, again, very interesting, but we still haven't been validated on this cross-chain DeFi yet. I believe that first we'll get Ethereum DeFi, and then we'll start getting, once Ethereum DeFi congestion becomes like crazy, we'll start getting second layer and cross-chain DeFi, which again, you saw like the explosion of Easy. Easy exploded, but that's before the congestion is really pushing it. And so that's why, I'm actually, I think it could still have another really significant leg up, but I took profits at that $10 range. And so far we're seeing it grind out and trying to kind of find support before it tries higher. But I think this really becomes a more interesting play once the congestion on ETH starts to boil over. All right, going to take a couple more questions, then we're going to wrap it up, guys. We have an amazing day. I think it marks a new era where we're seeing Bitcoin just essentially say, you know what? I don't care what all these other assets are doing. We're going to be the hedge against all this uncertainty, other markets going down, Bitcoin going up. It's literally a dream come true. And so, I think a lot of people are on edge. A lot of people are emotional right now. But I wanted to do this live stream today as sort of like giving us just a place to hang out, exchange thoughts, and support each other, because I believe that, I've seen it in myself and others, that the crypto movement is so powerful and people tend to identify with their participation in it in a way that it starts to supersede other identities. Whether you're on this side of one issue, that side of another issue, you can both agree that cryptocurrency and blockchain are the future, that they're more just, right? They provide more liberty, more security, more privacy, more wealth and freedom. And all those things are very positive. We can agree on these things despite our disagreements on other issues. And that's why I like to focus on this community aspect, because I think it's so powerful. And I think that the community aspect that goes on in crypto has the potential to be something that unifies people in the future. And that's why I stay optimistic. And I want, on days like today, which are obviously really heated, divided, people are very emotional, I think that coming together and realizing what we have in common is really powerful. And so that's why I wanted to do a live stream today. Just bring everyone together. Have I seen Yland? I think I looked at it. I wasn't a huge fan. Urinland or something. Thoughts on Trust Swap? Yeah, I'm still holding it, right? Obviously, I like the concept. And, I'm holding it because I wanted to get access to their ICOs or their decentralized launchpad. And that's really the crux of Trust Swap that I like, is their decentralized launchpad. They have a project coming up that I did get into, and I'll be talking about it once it sort of gets closer to launch. Thanks, bro. Great vid. Why is ETH not pumping? I don't know. No, ETH moves in cycles. Come on. You guys know this. Once alts heat up, ETH will be the tip of the spear. But, Link will probably do bigger gains, right? Is Uni still a valid asset in your portfolio? I mean, I got dropped so much Uni. I'm still holding some of it. I actually put a lot into the Uni ETH pool. And so I've just been collecting fees on Uni ETH since the beginning. And so I'm just going to leave it there, let it collect some fees. What do I think about Link? Bullish. What are your thoughts about Waves? I'm actually not familiar with what Waves is up to lately. Albit, Elio? Yeah, Albit's the one I invested into. Why is XETH better than XDOT? I would have to know more about both of those to answer that. Barnbridge thoughts? Interesting, actually. I began to dig into it and I got distracted the other day. Elio, do you believe that Bitcoin will drop 30% or more in the next couple of days? Shocked face. Ron, anything's possible. Truly. I mean, I do have a lot of stable coins right now. But then again, I'm actually building a lot of stuff, so I'm paying a lot of people. So I needed to like cash out some of my crypto to pay developers. But I still have a lot of Bitcoin. I still have a lot of these newer alts. I've sort of sized down on the alts that, my August alts, and I've sort of started putting more of my altcoin portfolio into newer coins, a lot of stables, doing some farming, and then of course, lots of Bitcoin and Ethereum as usual. Chainlink, obviously I don't touch those hodls. However, just really focusing on that sort of 10 to 20% of the portfolio where I'm doing the flips on the new projects. Hey, getting in way before anyone else does on a really awesome project with strong fundamentals, letting it do its thing early on in the market, taking some profits, securing my initial capital, securing my moon bag, and then I'm rooting for the project. But if it dips, if it goes up, whatever, I've sort of entered into it in a way where I feel comfortable. And that's sort of the way I'm approaching the market. And I think it's repeatable. Right? I think these types of approaches are repeatable. And that's why if Bitcoin drops in 30% in the next couple of days, sucks, but it doesn't ruin the party, right? Because these new coins that you're getting in, these sort of micros and super low caps, it takes a lot of hustle. It takes a lot of work. You have to be on it. You have to constantly be following all the right people on Twitter and YouTube and be in the right chat groups. And honestly, just stay on it. It's effort. You put in that effort and you will find the good projects. It just takes time. But then once you find them, if you know that something has the hype, the technology, the fundamentals, the community building, you can make your X's. And that's the way to protect your capital. And I believe that rain or shine in the crypto industry, since this explosion of Uniswap, that's going to keep happening. Again, it's extremely risky. There's so many rug pulls and stuff. You got to really be careful. I don't do anonymous teams, or at least I try to stay away from them unless I've had significant conversations with them, because there's just been too many rugs lately, and it's really sad when people get rugged. I mean, that breaks my heart. My top 3 alt plays, please. Hard to answer that, right? Because today my top alt is different than tomorrow my top alt, because a lot of the market's moving so fast right now that the best thing I can teach you right now is to learn. Learn to learn the process of finding the low caps, of finding the small caps, getting in early, and you will most likely be able to multiply your stacks. Not financial advice. You guys got to do the work. Super risky. But if you're getting in early, you can get those multipliers. You can secure your capital. And then if it dips 80%, so what? You've already taken out profits plus your original capital. You're better off than before, and you have your moon bag. And that's the game, is to get in early, get those flips and dips. And then maybe it takes 3 months grinding before it has its big next leg up, but you're not stressed out the whole time. When you buy something that's up 50%, that's up 200%, and then it crashes on you, that's when you're stressed. That's when you're behind. That's when your portfolio gets smaller, not bigger. How do you discover these projects before they're released? I mean, I've been in this community now for like 4+ years. I constantly am grinding, looking at research. I'm in every chat group. I have my own chat group, which is, by the way, guys, we're almost at 10,000 users in my t.me/ElioTrades crypto chat room. Highly encourage you guys, come check it out. Who's going to help me hit 10K? Really excited. And by the way, we're also about to hit 90K subscribers here on the channel. So if you're not subscribed to the channel, do me a favor, help me hit 90K right now. I'd really appreciate it. I'll be giving away a ledger and some other fun stuff when we do that. And of course, then we get into the grind. We're staring down the barrel of 100K. Certainly a nice round number. I'll be lying to you if I didn't tell you I was super excited for that. So I appreciate all the support, all of your guys' kind words. I really do it for you guys and the messages I get. When I'm able to help you guys get into something that actually does multiples, that's what that gets me going. I get so excited when I hear that I was not only able to do gains on my own, but able to pass those around to people and help people get ahead. It's just magical for me. So I wear a rug. Anyway, guys, I think we're kind of going around in circles. I really appreciate it. I hope this stream has energized you guys about all the amazing things happening on Bitcoin, the altcoins, the election. No matter who wins, Bitcoin wins, guys. That is a beautiful thing. It's a win-win, as they say, right? And so I hope this has made your day a little bit more exciting. The PayPal news, we have amazing news out of great altcoins that are being so generous and letting us get more advantageous entries before they go absolutely haywire. I think the alt season that is coming next year is just the stuff of legend, right? That's what I believe until proven otherwise. I believe that that's coming, and I don't think there's such a thing as Bitcoin Altcoin hitting all these crazy highs without it flowing into the alts. I think it happens like it has happened every time before. So I'm really excited, more optimistic than ever. I hope that you guys are sharing in that excitement. You guys survived the bloodbath that is September and October. A lot of people left. A lot of people didn't have the dexterity, the stamina to stick with it and to learn. But I know people that got crushed at the beginning of September that are DMing me saying they killed it with Easy. They're killing it with Unilend. They're killing it with projects that are new and growing. And that's the mentality that helps you get ahead, is if you take one failure and you leave, you're never going to get that W. And it's right that you fail a few times before you succeed, right? So hopefully we can grow together, build something amazing, and keep identifying the best project in the space. And with that said, I'll say thank you so much, guys. Follow me on Twitter, please, at Elio Trades, and join my Telegram group, t.me/ElioTradesCrypto. Remember, each and every comment on this video is entered to win your very own Ledger Nano S. And of course, if you're not already subscribed, go ahead, hit that sub button and click that little bell notification, because I'm putting out content each and every day. There's some amazing gem content coming. I think you're really going to love it. Thanks so much for watching. My name's Elio Trades, and I'll see you very soon on the next episode.